Okay, Math 1, Graphing Linear Inequalities Practice. So you can watch this too if you need some help with these graphing inequalities. So first thing we need to do is graph the line. When it's in slope-intercept form, that -3 tells us that's our y-intercept. So that's where we start. Our slope, 2/3, tells us we go up 2 to the right 3. So I count from here up 2 to the right 3, and I draw my next point. Then I go up 2 to the right 3. Okay, now I know where my line's going to go, so the next step is deciding, do I draw a solid line or a dotted line? A solid line means the line is part of the answer, and that means it's equal to, so it's either going to be greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Ours is greater than or equal to, so we draw our line. Then I need to decide, am I going to shade above the line or below the line? Okay, if y is bigger, we shade above. If y is smaller, we shade below. So it would look like that. Oops. Okay, ours is y is greater than, so I'm going to shade above. And that's all there is to it, so let's just get cracking.
Nice.
Y-intercept of 2, slope of -4/3. So that means we go down and to the right, so down 4, and to the right 3. Right about there, down 4, to the right 3. There's an equal to, so another solid line. Y is greater than, so we shade above. Okay, number 3, +1, y-intercept, -3/2. We go down 3, over 2, down 3, over 2. Okay, there's no equal to on my inequality, so I'm going to draw a dotted line, because that just means my line's a barrier. Y is still greater, so I still shade above. Okay, number 4, +5 for my y-intercept, 7/5. I mean I go up 7 to the right 5, but it's hard to see, so I can do that same idea going backwards. So I can go down to the left. So down 7 to the left 5. So put it right there. There's no equal to, so a dotted line will do. Y is less than, smaller than, so I shade below. Okay. Now, on 5 and 6, we should see there's no x in this one and no y in that one. If there's no x, we just go to the y-axis at -5, and I draw a horizontal line. It's dotted because there's no equal to. Then y is bigger, it's greater, so I shade above. Number 6 is just x, so I go where the x is -3. This time I draw a solid line because it's equal to. X is less than, so I shade to the left where x is less than. Alright, 7, we've got a -2 to start us off. Slope of -6, to make it a fraction, just put a 1 under it. So I'm down 6 to the right 1. Right about there. Or I could go up 6 to the left 1. So very steep line here. Then y was equal to, so solid line y is greater, so I actually shade over here, because that's where my y values go up. Number 8, I've got a +1, so y-intercept of +1. If you just have an x, we could always say it's 1x, so we could always say it's 1/1x, so I go up 1 and to the right 1. There's no equal to, so I draw myself a nice dotted line here. Y is less than, so I'm going to shade below. Okay, number 9, start out at -2, slope of -1 to the right 2. No equal to, so a dotted line. y is less than, so I shade below. Okay, start off of 5, negative 5 over 1, so I go down 5 to the right 1, down 5 to the right 1. There's an equal to, so it's a solid line. Y is less than, so I shade here where the y values go down. Okay, now those ones were all in slope-intercept form. Now we're going to look at some that aren't in slope-intercept form. So we want to get them in slope-intercept form. The way you do that is by getting rid of this x and that negative 3. So we have y is greater or less than. So I'm going to start by subtracting x. 0 minus x is negative x. So I get negative 3y is greater than negative x. And that's like negative 1x. Divide by a negative 3. And whenever we divide with an inequality, we flip the inequality. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 1 divided by 3 is 1/3 x. There's no y-intercept, so it's at 0. And then I go up 1 to the right 3. Then there's no equal to, so it's a dotted line. And y is less than, so I shade below. So once you've solved it for y, by getting y all by itself, then it's simply just like the other ones. So start off by subtracting x, and it's pretty much the same pattern, where you're always going to start off by getting rid of the x term, whether you add or subtract, then dividing by the coefficient of y, the number out in front of y, if there is one. In this case, there isn't. Y-intercept of 0, that would be like a negative 1 over 1. So down 1 to the right 1. There's a line, so it's a solid line. Y is less than or equal to, so we shade below. Alright, so that's what we got going on with these guys. Okay, so x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 2. Subtract the x first. Negative 2y is greater than or equal to 2 minus x. We can't combine them, so we can just go 2 minus x. Divide everything by negative 2. That becomes 1. We get y. Change the sign because it was a negative. Less than or equal to 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 divided by 2 is a positive 1/2 x. So now my y-intercept is first because it doesn't have the x, so start at negative 1. Slope of 1 over 2. So I go up 1 to the right 2. There's an equal to, so we draw a solid line. Y is less than, so I shade below. Alright, 2x minus 3y is less than or equal to 12. Subtract the 2x. That's not 10x. It's just negative 3y is less than or equal to 12 minus 2x. Divide everything by negative 3. We get y is greater than or equal to 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Negative 2 divided by negative 3 is positive 2/3 x. So start out down at negative 4. Go up 2 to the right 3. So an equal to, so it's a solid line. Y is greater, so we shade above. Okay. 2x minus y is greater than negative 4. Subtract the 2x. Negative y is greater than negative 4 minus 2x. This is like a negative 1, so divide everything by negative 1. So y is less than positive 4 plus 2x. So go to positive 4, slope of 2 over 1, up 2 to the right 1, or that same pattern, down 2 to the left 1. There's no line, so it's dotted. Y is less than, so we shade underneath. Okay, 16. Same pattern. subtract the 8x. We get y is greater than negative 4 minus 8x. Don't need to divide for the y. Starting point of negative 4. Slope of negative 8 over 1. So we go down 8 and to the right 1. We can follow that same pattern backwards and go up 8 to the left 1, since we ran out of space. There's no equal to, so a nice dotted line would do. Y is greater, so we shade above. Alright. Okay, now in these ones we're doing the opposite. We're given the inequality and we have to go back and graph it. Okay, so find my y-intercept, positive 1. We're using y and then an inequality, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, greater than, less than, mx plus b. To find the slope, we plot all the points here and see that we're going up 2 to the right 1, so that'd be 2 over 1, or just 2. So then I go y is something 2x plus 1. Now, are we shading above or below? Shading below. Okay, so it's going to be less than. Is it a solid or dotted line? It's dotted, so we just leave it as less than. Okay, so number 18. So I can see I'm shading below and it's a solid line, so I should know it's less than or equal to right off the bat. Y-intercept of 4. Looks like we're going down 1, so negative 1 to the right 2. Slope of negative 1/2. So I go y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 4. Okay. 19, same idea, y-intercept of negative 3. A slope of, looks like up 1, 2, 3, to the right 5, so 3/5. So y, it's above, so is greater, solid, equal to 3/5. Remember the x with the slope, minus 3. And our last problem, looks like a 4 for the y-intercept. The slope, looks like we plot a point right about there, so down 5, so negative 5 to the right 1. So negative 5 over 1, or just negative 5. So y, looks like it's less than, no equal to, because dotted line, negative 5x plus 4. And there we go, guys.